Hi, this is Dr. Keith Ablow with another Pain to Power video. This one is about the bad reputation that self-love gets. It's interesting, right? It gets all mixed up with people who say you're an egotist, you're far too narcissistic. Self-love's very different because in fact, self-love means loving the truth about yourself. Now, that takes some real commitment. It takes a commitment to burrow to the core of who you really are. And so it's the opposite, actually, of ego. Ego is born of trying to prop yourself up in ways that aren't authentic. Once you get to the real poetry of who you really are, what your core strengths are, what you really care about, then ego and narcissism tends to fade away and real self-love takes its place. Now, something else interesting happens when you can embrace yourself, meaning, you stop running from what you think are your weaknesses or foibles. You stop running from the tough parts of your life story. You start embracing who you really are, where you've really been, the tough things you've lived through. Once you start doing that, something else very interesting happens. And that is you start to connect far more with other people for real, not just for Facebook or for fun, right? That's very different. It's the opposite, right? Just the way that ego is the opposite of true self-love. Once you really love yourself and you've embraced times you've messed up, weaknesses that you've had, episodes in your life that have been tremendously stressful that you have previously glossed over, once you can embrace them, own them, then you own yourself. That's why I call Pain to Power the True You University. Kind of. I've started calling it that, well, on this video, really, for the first time. So once you can embrace yourself for real, self-love shouldn't anymore have any kind of a negative connotation, because in fact it means that you've done away with artifice, you've done away with fakery. You're supposed to love yourself. You're supposed to love your true abilities, your true capacity to care for other people, your true honesty, your true willingness to stand with your values and do what's required in order to have integrity and authenticity and not yield in the face of so many forces right now in society that would take away your personal power and convince you to hate yourself. More about that in another Pain to Power video, but you get the message. And remember, you're supposed to love yourself for one reason only, because your story matters not only to you, but to all of us. We're relying on you to express the best of yourself. So if you'll embrace you, we're all gonna benefit. That's the calculus we're after.